Welcome, everybody. So excited to be coming together on Zoom today for our heart to heart wellness and abundance discussion. And we're just delighted that you're taking the time to hop on and hear information and stories about something that has dramatically impacted our lives in a positive way. So, my name is Melody Sharon, and you're going to hear from a few incredible individuals today as we just take some time to share a little bit about the products and company that we work with and how these things are impacting our lives. So, just a little bit about my story, and then I'll share a little bit more at the end. About 4 years ago, this information came into mine and my husband's life, and it was really an answer to our prayers because at the time we had been dealing with some pretty crazy health issues for him that had led to many hospital visits and a pretty rocky ride health-wise. But on top of that, we were young and newly married and really just we're getting our feet on the ground with financial stability as well, or basically having the lack thereof. And so was juggling 4 to 5 different jobs. And when this information came across our paths as really just a huge answer to prayer, it really felt like if we don't share this with other people, what are we doing? We felt like it was a moral obligation to bless other people with this information. And I'm so grateful because our first speaker, Rusty Cottrell, was the one who shared this with my dad. And for those of you who do not know, my dad is a physician. And as a medical doctor, he did not know about this incredible breakthrough that we're going to be talking about, which is really quite significant because usually we think that our doctors and medical professionals are always going to know about the latest and greatest updates and research and science. But when my dad had his friend phone him up and share about this incredible scientific and medical breakthrough, he was blown away and was like, you need to tell my daughter about this because her and her husband have been looking for answers because we really believe strongly in the fact that it's so important to get to the root of being healthy versus just trying to cover up and mask symptoms. So that friend of my dad's, Rusty Cottrell, is a physical therapist, and he's going to be starting off today with just going over really the science of the core products that we are working with and this incredible scientific breakthrough that is backed by peer-reviewed research as being one of the most extraordinary breakthroughs in the history of preventative and therapeutic medicine. So Rusty Cottrell, thank you so much for being here with us today. Excited to have you share with us.
Thanks, Melanie. I'm always excited to share this because it's changed my life and so many friends of mine and family and people that they know. And you probably maybe heard of genetics or genes, how they work. You maybe have friends, or maybe you did the 23andMe or Ancestry.com and had your DNA tested. I actually did. I didn't have any brothers I didn't know about, so that was really kind of cool. So that was good information. I want to talk a little bit about genes, and I want to talk about mutations for a second. Just between you and your parents, you've had 1,000 gene mutations. Your grandparents, there's been 2,000 gene mutations. So the healthier you can keep your genes, and things that protect your genes from mutating, guess what they are? Sirtuins. I'll talk about those in a minute, but it's absolutely amazing. We have a product that activates that. So protecting your genes is super, super important. But I want to talk about a couple of things. One's glutathione, one's superoxide dismutase, or SOD, and the other is oxidative stress. The reason why that's so important is if you went to PubMed.gov, which is the National Institute of Health's Library of Medicine, basically, the all peer-reviewed medicine, and you typed in oxidative stress, you'd probably get around 260,000 hits on diseases. If you typed in low glutathione, guess what? You'd find the same number of diseases. If you typed in low SOD, you'd find the same number of diseases. So you can do your own research, but I'm going to say that oxidative stress, glutathione, and SOD are some of the 3 most important things you can think about and then a few things I'm going to tell you about today. So our NF2 activator Protandim actually increases glutathione, increases SOD, and decreases oxidative stress. It's absolutely amazing. I learned that from a pharmacist friend of mine. He said, "Hit simple, Rusty," and he told me that illustration. So I'm cheating. I mean, I'm not cheating. I'm just using his. So, but I want to talk about the three major areas of aging. One is oxidative stress. One is mitochondrial dysfunction. The other is a loss in sirtuins. Now, this may be Greek to you, but I'm trying to make it kind of simple. Sirtuins protect your genes from getting data changed, basically, getting the information changed. The mitochondria are your energy source. For example, my wife was taking a course in mitochondrial dysfunction because she's a dietitian. She found out that all your organs are not created equal. As you are developing in the embryo, so you might get strong mitochondria goes to your heart, but you get weaker mitochondria goes to your lungs. So maybe your family gets heart disease, or your family gets strokes, or your family gets cancer, whatever your family gets. Typically, it's in the weaker mitochondrial areas where we have a product, NRF1 activator Protandim, that actually increases mitochondrial function. So I'm going to kind of put it in a little story here. So imagine now, if you can imagine this, imagine you're out in space, you're in a spaceship, and you have 306 trillion asteroids headed your way. Now, what do you want to protect you? You want Protandim Nerf2, because that's going to give you millions and millions and millions of antioxidant enzymes that can actually eliminate the majority of those asteroids out there. And those are the free radicals that are coming towards you. But there's another part of your spaceship that's super important. That's the power, the energy. Imagine that you have an energy failure in your spaceship. Then what's going to happen? Well, you might have certain areas of your spaceship that doesn't work, right? You might even have areas that you need to, doors that need to open to go into certain areas that you can't get in because the door won't open because the power is gone. Well, the mitochondria are the power source of your cells. And you have like 4,000 of those in your heart cell, for example. Now, another important piece is the sirtuins. And sirtuins, again, remember, they protect your gene data, the information. So in the spaceship analogy, they're basically your computer system, the operating system, all the technical stuff in that spaceship that actually keeps that spaceship going. And if your data or the operating system gets damaged or a virus gets in there and changes that information, that spaceship will not work. And so you need to be able to protect yourself from asteroids. You need the full power to everything, every system in your spaceship. That's the mitochondrial protection, and you need the data protection for your operating system of your spaceship. So these three work together, and when you take all three of these products together, it explodes what each one of them do by themselves. It's like, I remember being in science lab, and you have the beaker there, right, or flask, whatever they call it, and you add in one chemical, and you add another chemical, and then you add the third chemical, and all of a sudden you have this massive explosion, and all of a sudden the science room is full of smoke and stuff like that. Well, that's what happens with these three go together. They explode, and they make them so powerful. So if you understand what I'm saying, is basically you want to make you the best you that you can be. And from my experience as a physical therapist and seeing my patients and family and friends do this, this is the very best thing I know of. I was 80% raw, organic only, exercise. I get plenty of sleep to take care of myself. I never get sick. But when I added these products into my life, it's amazing. I was just telling the group earlier that I just did the most pull-ups I've done in a long time today, even more than the last time I did this. So I'm pretty excited. Thanks for letting me share.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rusty. It really is incredible that we can impact our genes in such a positive way, because we're really shifting from the model of supplementation, where we're trying to give our body something that might be missing, and pharmacology, where we're trying to cover up symptoms, to really tapping into our DNA and genetics so that we can fine-tune that code, just like you said, to become the best versions of ourselves. And that leads me to introducing Chris Kelly. So excited to have him on and sharing his story today. We've met a few times, and he's just such a friendly and personable guy, and I'm just so impressed with his enthusiasm for life. He is an enthusiast for cycling and just being adventurous. And he has a really, really powerful story. And it's been awesome to see the transformation that he's experienced so far through activating his body. And so that's what we're going to be hearing about a little bit today. And Chris, thank you so much for being willing to share and be here with us today.
Thank you, Melody. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to share. I've been taking these products and has really helped and changed my life. I've had spasticity all my life. It really affects my whole body, primarily the right side. While I was very active as a kid, I was limited. There was only so much sports I could do, so much playing, running, etc. that I could do, and I eventually focused on cycling and bicycling. It was low impact, easy to do, but I eventually stopped that. Got too busy, too much energy, general reasons that we all have in growing up and transitioning to being adults and jobs, etc. But I've always been interested in bettering myself, pushing my boundaries. About a year ago, I heard about NRF2 and was introduced to LifeVantage, watched the video, sounded vaguely familiar or something I heard back when the ABC documentary was first aired. So after a few months of researching, studying, and comparing, educating myself, I took the plunge. I tried out NRF2. Felt better, felt more energy, and felt more like how I felt as a kid, feeling a bit invincible, wanting to take risks, having fun. So a couple months after starting, I went on a mountain hike. Logically, I shouldn't have. The path was steep, uneven, lots of needles, pine cones, tripping hazards, stuff that somebody that was hiking with a cane shouldn't do. But I made it to the top. I made it back with only my cane for distance. But here's the great thing about it. The previous year, I did the same hike. I needed help getting down by two of my friends, which was amazing, exciting, but I wasn't totally convinced. Could have been other factors, could have been just been being used to knowing what to expect. Well, a couple months later, I started the Tri-Citizen Dresser in January, got even more energy, and did some indoor cycling. When the pandemic hit, I got my first bike in only 10 years. 2 weeks after getting the bike, I rode 20 miles and had very little recovery time, maybe a day or two. And that made me so excited. I started biking more and was more relaxed. And what I didn't realize at the time was my spastic muscles were starting to relax more and more. And I was able to focus not on keeping the bike upright, but focusing on the intricacies of biking, pedal power, using my right leg, my right side, my weak side to push and ride faster. Since then, since March, last 3 months, I've really started getting interesting. I've had people comment saying that I've had more confidence in what I do, and not really a sense more relaxed. Other improvements of the improvements from the Tri-Citizen Dresser that I found was that I was able to be smoother in my movements, in my my muscles, how I felt. And I went from gauging when I took muscle relaxers based upon when my muscles needed to having to go on a timetable and with an alarms to remind myself to take those doses. And really what's happened is, rather than pushing my limits to do what I want to do, noticing my limitations are expanding or contracting to allow me to do more of what I couldn't do. Using my right hand more is to strap my bike onto the bike rack with a strap in each hand, something I couldn't do before. I like to sing, and I'm able to do that much easier. So really what I'm finding is that I can do everyday life trip, the holistic benefit, which I am very eager to see what's coming up and what improvements and abilities I'm able to have in the future. Thank you for asking me to share, Melody.
Wow, Chris, your story is so inspiring. I literally have goosebumps over here because I know that we've seen some progress in you so far, but hearing some of those extra details on your story is just absolutely incredible. And we are so happy that in fine-tuning your genes and reducing your oxidative stress, increasing your mitochondria function, and increasing your sirtuin gene activity, you are experiencing life at an optimal level, which is so inspiring. And I love that you mentioned that you actually saw the ABC Primetime air on live television back in 2005, because I've only met a few people who actually watched it live, but I have met a few. And basically what happened after that live viewing of the ABC investigative report was there were a lot of viewers and a lot of people phoned in wanting to be able to access the product, but there really wasn't supply available. So the demand was very great based on that investigative report alone, but being able to meet that demand was not something that the scientists and researchers were able to do because they hadn't really figured out a good production model and distribution model because they were scientists doing research. And so that leads us to where we are today, where we're people sharing with people, because when they finally did increase the production of our products and they were sitting on the shelves of stores, nobody knew what Nerve2 activation was. Nobody knew what Protandim was. And it was literally just sitting there, maybe selling one bottle a month per store, which is not enough to keep a product on the market. And the company was struggling and in debt. And back in 2009, there were some consultants that came in and said, you really just need to use a better distribution model because you have a phenomenal product at a reasonable price point, and you just need people sharing with people who have an experience talking to their friends, talking to their family. And so that's why you're on this Zoom today, hearing stories, because we are all so passionate to be sharing about something that has been a gift for us in changing lives like Chris's, like Rusty's, like my own, like my husband's. And so it's just a beautiful industry to be part of, where in network marketing, we just share with our network of friends and family. And then as customers who are consuming these products, we can refer you to our websites. And it really just is a beautiful industry to be part of. So thank you for sharing, Chris. We are extremely delighted for you. And I'm also just super excited to introduce my lifelong friend, Rachel. She is an inspiration to me with all that she juggles as a busy mom and a nurse. And I'm so grateful that she has decided to partner with sharing this information with us as well. So Rachel, so glad that you're here and able to share your story with us. And thank you for being on.
Hi everyone. So it's really glad to be able to share today, and thanks for that awesome introduction, Melody. Melody and I have literally known each other probably since we were babies, although we didn't remember that. But anyway, I have been taking some of these products for about a year and a half, I think now. And originally I started taking them because I was a very tired mom, and I've always needed a lot of sleep, and it definitely benefited my sleep as well as other physical benefits that I wasn't expecting, like an improved vision and helped with my neck pain and other tight muscles. But besides other benefits that I don't have time to go into, but mainly after my son was born, he's about almost 2 years old now. As soon after he was born, I was thinking, I don't really want to go back to work. I don't really want to be a nurse. I mean, I did want to be a nurse, but I wanted to be home with him, you know, and that's a normal mommy feeling, to want to be home with your child. So I've been working per diem, which is something I intend to do for a while because I enjoy being in the professional world, but I have been cutting back in my work because right now is the only time that I can be with him. And so basically, Melody, I asked Melody, you know, about what she was doing, and she talked to me a little bit about it because I knew she had a flexible schedule. And I had never really looked into the business side of LifeVantage. I just was happy taking the products. But when Melody explained to me more of the business and I started asking questions, I realized that this was something that I could share with people, legit share with people, because there was science behind it, there was information behind it. And just by sharing, I could start to build a team and a network and a business where I could, you know, have that flexible schedule and still be making money to support, to have a little extra money there to support myself. And my husband also works too, but it's helpful to have two incomes. But long story short is that I had been looking for something like this, and this was an awesome opportunity I couldn't pass by. And since I believed in the products, I had the, you know, science to back it, and I also had awesome people to work with like Melody and other people. I realized that it was something that I wanted to do. So I've been doing it, not as long as Melody, but I've been enjoying it, doing it, and I literally do it in my spare moments of time. So it's when Jonathan's napping, late at night, you know, 15 minutes here, 5 minutes here, five minutes there, and it's paying off, and I'm excited for the journey and excited to keep growing through it. And my video is going to cut out here for a second, but I wrote down something I just want to share with you guys. Can you still hear me? Okay, so I wrote down that I love helping people already, and I naturally have a talent to help people, so, and teaching people. So this was a good fit for me. The awesome thing is that, first of all, what I was going to say is that a lot of people look at network marketing or this business model as an iffy thing. And for me, at first, I was a little bit skeptical. But when you really look at it, it's just simply taking out the middleman, taking out the store, and giving the people that are already passionate about the products an opportunity to share with their friends and family. And we already do network marketing. You tell your friends about their favorite restaurant. You tell your friends about a dress or an item or something they should buy, you know, a resort they should go to or whatever. But do you get paid for doing that? No. And it's not all about money, but think about it, the effort that you put in, it's the same thing, and then you get a small commission for doing that. So it's really an awesome business model. And I did a lot of research too into the company, and I realized that they're literally providing an opportunity for many people, no matter who you are, your background, your education, your resources. You can get started at a low cost, low risk, and be able to benefit others as well as yourself. And really, you can take it as far as you want. You can go as high as you want. And it's a self-growth, self-developmental journey as well. So I'm really happy to be a part of this journey with all these amazing people. And I'm just excited to help other people in this journey too. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Rachel. And it's just wonderful to really have a beautiful team and tribe of so many people who are really excited about sharing this gift with the world. And I just want to kind of wrap up the call with sharing the rest of my story, because honestly, when this first came into our lives, we were on our hands and knees praying for health solutions to get to the root of inflammation and just anything that can be a result of aging and oxidative stress and free radical damage and all of these things. But really, in addition to that, we had so much stress financially because of all of those hospital visits, medical bills, my husband being in grad school and not getting enough work as a dental hygienist. It was a very, very stressful time. And just like people can have stress from their health concerns, there is also a very real reality that people can have stress from financial sickness. And when Washington State University said that NRF2 activation may well become one of the most extraordinary breakthroughs in the history of preventative medicine, that is a big statement. You know, you think of things like penicillin. There was a time when people didn't know about penicillin. So if you're hearing about NRF2 activation for the first time and you're like, well, I haven't heard of it before, so maybe it's not really as significant as these stories or what I'm hearing, I would encourage you to go to pubmed.gov. Do your research, type in Protandim, type in oxidative stress, like Rusty was saying. And that is exactly what I did. And when I was seeing that research, I was like, the whole world needs to know about this. And with juggling the 4 to 5 different jobs that I was with, babysitting and cleaning houses and working at as many dental offices as I possibly could to keep my schedule full while I was supporting my husband through school, I just figured, you know, I want to tell people about this already. It's awesome that there's a built-in plan to be compensated for your efforts. And at first I had a goal of let's pay for our products and have some extra money for putting gas in the car and groceries on the table so it's not a panic attack when you're walking through the grocery line. And when it got to that point where, you know, at the Pro 3, Pro 4 rank, I was able to let go of some of my house cleaning and babysitting jobs. That's when I was realizing, like, this is something that can not only change people's lives health-wise, but it's also a way to be able to help people with that financial stress through the natural process of sharing something that we're having a positive experience with. Flash forward 2 years after being part of this company, my husband and I relocated to Washington State. And as much as I had thought that my dental hygiene career was what I would be passionately doing for most of my career life, when we moved, I learned that I would have had to go back to school to retake my boards and take some additional classes in order to be certified in the state of Washington. And that was when it really just allowed my husband and I the opportunity to sit down and reevaluate, what do we really want out of life? Do we really want to be in this rat race where we're constantly, you know, waking up, going to work, clocking in, clocking out, and having our jobs consume all of our time? Or do we want to really leverage this incredible opportunity with our company, LifeVantage, and the incredible gift that we have to offer people with these products and financial freedom through building a business and sharing the products with other people? And we decided that I would self-retire from dental hygiene and just focus on this business. And that's when it really like turned on for me, this whole like aspect of, just like we want to be proactive about prevention with our health, we should be proactive with our futures, because we don't know what's going to be happening in the future. We don't know what kind of circumstances are going to pop up. And everything that's happened with the coronavirus has really made that a reality, to recognize like most of my coworkers who were working in the dental field are without work. And, you know, at the time when I was starting this side hustle, some of them were like, why are you doing another business? And, you know, people sometimes wonder like why you're starting something else. But the reality is we don't know what's going to happen in the future. And so digging our well before we're thirsty and recognizing that this gift is so huge to be able to have the potential for some extra financial relief and the potential for financial freedom as it grows is really something to get excited about and latch on to the potential, and really just realize that the ripple effect that you can have through blessing other people's lives is so, so powerful. You don't realize when you say yes, all the other potential yeses that can come from that. And hearing stories like Chris's and Rachel's and, you know, so many other people on this amazing team, it's really rewarding to realize like this ripple effect is so much bigger than we can even comprehend. And so if you're here hearing the information for the first time, I would encourage you to experience the products for yourself. And if you are interested in really becoming part of something that's bigger than yourself, where you can have an impact on the lives of others for the good in an incredibly positive way, get your questions answered, get more information about our amazing company, the amazing culture of our team and our community, because you might just realize that this is something that you want to be part of too, because it's really just a powerful, powerful experience. And it's really an awesome opportunity for personal growth and really becoming the best version of yourself in multiple ways, not just health-wise, but also there's so many other components to that experience. So thank you, Rusty, Chris, and Rachel for sharing. And thank you everyone for taking the time to listen and hear our stories today as well. God bless and have a wonderful day.